my name is Chris from Prezi Training Design. What I'd like to share today is a tip on how to polish the photos that you use in your Prezi design. Let's look at this Prezi. Just say, for example, we've been to Africa and we'd like to do a Prezi on some of the things you've seen in your trip. It's a nice, clean, simple design. When we zoom in to add some things or some photos of things that we've seen in Kenya, let's use the inbuilt search function within Prezi in search image, and let's use this to add a couple of pictures of things that we may have seen along the way. First, let's put in, say, a lion. This one looks great. Let's say a cheetah. It's a great photo. And let's say, thirdly, we'll use an elephant. That is looking pretty good. Now, the photos individually are great, but one of the design problems that we'll see from here is that with a very strong coloured photo and a sharp edge, when we go into present mode and see what these photos look like, it's going to be a very strong contrast against the white background. Let me click present just up here. That photo's still loading up. Let's jump in, and here we go. So this comes up quite a bit because the photos have a different look and feel, they have a different size, and sometimes the inconsistency can take away from the polish of your Prezi. So the tip that we'd like to share is this idea about using a drop shadow to add a feeling of depth to the photos. A drop shadow, you'll see a link appear on the screen at the moment. You can click on that link to download the file. The drop shadow is just an image file. I previously added that as a favorite to my Prezi account, so if I click on Insert, My Content, I don't have to chase the file down. It's going to appear here on the right hand side. I can drop this in and it's going to load up into my Prezi. Now, it's a very simple image file. There's not really much to it. Here it is. Zoom in. It's just a bit of a shadow. But what I can use that for is to be able to adjust it underneath my photo. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can do it quite roughly from eye. Copy and paste it. I'll add it back over here to the cheetah. A little bit bigger. And put underneath the line just here. Might make this a little bit smaller. Let's move up here. So now if I go to present mode, there you go. That's the effect that a drop shadow has. It uses that lovely white background, but instead of a strong contrast between the photo and the background, it adds a feeling of depth. 2 tips to using a drop shadow in your Prezi design. The first is, if you would like to add a path to one of the photos that you've got to zoom in on the photo, before you do that, group both the drop shadow and the photo together by selecting them, then touching on group up the top here. That means that when we add a path to the photo, it will include the group, and the group is that drop shadow and the photo together. So when we zoom in, like this, and then this, you can see that it's the photo and the drop shadow shows up together rather than just the photo itself. The second tip is, rather than having to go through and search for the drop shadow file all the time, save it to your favorites by simply left clicking on the image, clicking on favorites just here, and that will be always available to your Prezi account where you sign on from. You can click on Insert from My Content, and that's where your favorites are stored. There you go. You can use it not only for photos, when you put a video file in, when you put say for example a spreadsheet or a screenshot, the drop shadow is just going to add to that feeling of depth in the Prezi and add a little bit of a polish. It's a simple tip, but hopefully something that will help you in your Prezi design. If you'd like to learn more about how to make a great Prezi, we have a range of in-house and public workshops. If you'd like to transform your next presentation to an awesome Prezi, we also have a design service that will take your existing presentation or a brand new presentation and create it into something that's going to look great in Prezi.